New at 6 o'clock tonight and from our state capitol, as California continues to struggle with a homelessness crisis, a new government report out tonight is raising questions about whether the state is properly tracking the results of a vital multi-million-dollar program aimed at addressing encampments. 17's Capitol correspondent Eitan Wallace has a closer look and reaction tonight from lawmakers.
They're called encampment resolution grants. Specifically, they're taxpayer funds the state allocates to local governments and communities to address homeless encampments. The goal is to invest in homelessness services working to transition people out of encampments and into permanent housing. Since 2021, the legislature and governor have provided a total of $900 million worth of encampment resolution grants to local communities across the state. And in the coming budget year, the governor has proposed an additional $100 million for such grants. But this new report from the California Legislative Analyst's Office, the nonpartisan government agency in charge of making policy recommendations to the legislature, found as of now, data tracking the outcomes of encampment resolution grants have not been provided to the legislature. Paul Steenhausen is with the nonpartisan Legislative Analyst's Office.
What our office sought to do is look at this program and ask, is the program working? Is the program having successful outcomes? What do the data show?
But when it came time to get answers to those questions, upon digging for more info, Steenhausen, as of this month, came to this conclusion.
The state lacks answers, and the state lacks answers to a number of important questions, basic questions about the program, like how many people have been provided services in these encampments? What kinds of services have they received? How many people have been housed? How many housing units have been produced with this money? Remember, we're talking about $900 million in funding to date for the program.
Because of that, the nonpartisan Legislative Analyst's Office has recommended state lawmakers wait to spend more money on encampment resolution grants until more data is shared about its outcomes.
We have to do better with accountability. We have to track our spending.
Folsom Republican Assemblymember Josh Hoover has long called for the state to better track outcomes of its homelessness spending.
The state continues to use how much we're spending as their only metric for success. And I think that's why we're failing, because it's all about the dollars that we're throwing at the problem and not about the actual outcomes.
Last year, Hoover authored a bill that would have required state agencies to annually report the results of its homelessness spending. That came after this state audit showed California spent $24 billion to address homelessness over the last half-decade, but did not adequately track the outcomes of that spending. Governor Newsom, though, vetoed Hoover's bill, arguing similar proposals had already become law. Newsom's office notes he recently launched this website, accountability.ca.gov, displaying data and information about communities' efforts to address homelessness, housing, and mental health. The governor's spokesperson writing this, quote, "The Newsom administration is open to working with the legislature on additional funding to continue to drive progress on this critical issue. However, any future homelessness funding for local governments must incorporate stronger accountability policies." And we should have a better idea about how much the governor plans to allocate toward addressing homelessness when he presents his updated budget in May. Reporting at the state capitol, Eitan Wallace, 17 News.